Hello, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me here today on Narcissism 101 Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. Good morning, guys. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday morning. I feel like it's been a while since I've made a video, so hope you guys are doing well. I'm glad I'm able to make another video for you guys today. Before we get into what we're going to talk about today, as usual, if you want a one-on-one session, please email me at paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or you can send a text message to 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need more advice, if you have some questions about some of the things I mentioned in some of my videos, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. If you want to call, just send a text to that number and just let me know that it's you and that you'd like to talk about your experience, just so that I know it's you and just so that I can go ahead and get you the help that you need. All right? So, what we're going to talk about today, guys, and this is something that we should all know, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, is the narcissist has disdain for everyone. Yes, guys, the narcissist has disdain for everybody, okay? I want you guys to all understand that. And you have to understand, and this is something I mentioned in all of my videos, and it's really important, it's that narcissists thrive off of chaos, confusion, and control. Narcissists, they need chaos, they need confusion, they need control, because narcissists, inside of themselves, they're empty. Inside of themselves, they know that they can never be satisfied. And so in order for them to get that satisfaction, they need to be creating chaos. They need to be doing something that causes displeasure amongst another person, right? Because it makes them feel good, because it makes them feel as though they matter. It makes it seem as though that they're actually important. And so narcissists, they have disdain for everyone, right? Now, you may have thought that when you got into that relationship with the narcissist, and it doesn't have to be romantic, guys. Romantic, those closest to you can do the most damage to you. And those people are usually your family members, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, mom, dad. It can be, somebody, a friend who you've known for 20 years, 30 years. It doesn't even have to be romantic. And romantic is just a very small little part of that, right? Because the closest people to you, you've known them all your life, right? And so what you have to understand, guys, is that the narcissist, they have disdain. They hate everybody, right? They can never be happy with just one person, right? And that is because narcissists don't trust people. They don't have, they can't just be happy, right? They're always looking over their shoulder to see what is around the corner from them. That's why they always have multiple supply sources, right? That's why they are always in relationships. That's why, let's say, if you're married to the narcissist, they're not just, you may have thought that they were married to you, that it was just you guys just married together, and you guys were married for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, whatever it is, whatever those things are, whatever that, and what that means, you understand that. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't just you that the narcissist was dealing with. The narcissist they were probably married to someone else while they were married to you, or they had somebody else in the wings while they were married to you, because narcissists, they can't be alone, right? They can never just be alone because they're so empty. They always need validation 24/7. And so when you're away from the narcissist, right? When you're away doing your own things, whether you're at work, whether you're gonna go see your family, whether you're spending time with your friends, your girlfriends, or your guy friends, whatever it is that you're doing, playing sports, whatever those things are, the narcissist, you may have thought that you were just doing that thing and you just left them alone and they were doing their own thing. But the truth of the matter is that the narcissist, they were talking to somebody else while you were gone. They were doing this behind your back deliberately. They were doing it knowingly, right? And it's because they're afraid. And I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, that narcissists believe that everybody is doing exactly what they are doing. And it's a sad reality. It's very sad. Because the person that you thought you were in love with, the person you thought that you had a relationship with, that person that whole entire time wasn't all into the relationship or that marriage, because they knew that that marriage or that relationship was going to end one way or another. Whether they ended it and discarded you, or whether you ended it and reverse discarded them, which is something that I've talked about in my videos before. The reverse discard, and if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for being here for the first time. What a reverse discard is when the narcissist makes your life so miserable and they make your life so difficult and challenging. Maybe they start spending less time with you out of the blue. You guys are in love, everything is good, you're feeling on each other, everything is great. But then out of nowhere, they start just spending less time with you, or they stop being intimate with you. They stop saying I love you so much. They start making excuses why they can't spend time with you. They start coming home late, or not going out at all. Or they just wait for you to leave. They start making fun of you. They start making backhanded comments at you. They start being passive aggressive with you. Everything just starts to feel like it's falling apart, because the truth is it was always falling apart. But now that they have you in the devaluation stage, where they feel as if you're not going anywhere, that's when things really start to fall apart. That's when the narcissist really starts to show you who they are, how much disdain that they have for you, right? Because the narcissist, even in the love bomb stage, the narcissist had disdain for you from the get-go. But you see, the thing is that you only saw tiny little pieces of it, right? You saw but the thing is, in the love bomb stage, they were grooming you and conditioning you to act the way that you are acting. They were conditioning you to feel like you were in love, that you guys were going to spend the rest of your lives together, because they know that in the love bomb stage, that's when they do their hard work to reel you in, to have you onto them, right? But the narcissist knows inside their mind that that's not sustainable. They know that every relationship that they enter, whether it's romantic in a marriage, whether it's just romantic in a relationship, whether it's in a work setting, whether it's in a church community, whether it's a friend that they've known, whether it's in a family, the narcissist knows every relationship is going to end just like that. And the sad thing about narcissistic, relationships when they end is that there's no closure. The narcissist doesn't give anyone closure. They don't sit down with them and say, hey man, look, listen, or hey babe, listen, I'm so sorry about how things happened. I wish we could, things could have been better. There's none of that. They end it just like that, because narcissists, they can't self-reflect. They have disdain for everyone. Anybody that loves you and doesn't hate you will sit down with you and conversate with you and talk with you about what is going wrong. Maybe you don't communicate well. Anybody that loves you will sit you down and say, hey, listen, your communication, one thing, and you guys talk about it like normal adults, right? You talk about it and you say, hey, this is where I think you're lacking, your communication skills, maybe you're going through some things, and you look for ways to figure it out, to work together as a team, right? Well, the narcissists, they just move on as if nothing happened, because they can't self-reflect. And the reason why they can't self-reflect, it's because if they self-reflect, that means that they have to think about all the people that all the relationships that they've ruined just like that. And that's every single relationship they encounter. Now, hold on. Some relationships, they can be for 2 years, they can be for 3 years, they can even be for a month, they can be for 10 years. Maybe you were born into a narcissistic family, and you've been in your parents' life all your life. You've lived at home, which isn't a bad thing. There's people who live at home and choose, so that's fine. But what I'm saying is that you were doing everything to keep the family together. You felt as though, everybody was taken from you, but then some point, whether it was your parents, your sibling, your aunt, your uncle, whomever it is, that person that you were very close with, all of a sudden they're being very cold to you. They treat you very coldly. They stop returning your texts. They stop returning your calls. They stop calling you. They stop giving you presents on Christmas. They all of it just goes away just like that. You're trying to figure out what the heck is going on. I'm calling them. They're not calling me. I'm giving them presents. They're not giving me presents. And, everything was good before. What happened? Well, the truth is, what happened is that the narcissists, they decide inside their minds that they thought in their minds that they found something better, right? Because narcissists, like I said in the beginning of my video, they're never satisfied. They're so empty inside of themselves that they just can't be satisfied with just one person, with what one person gives them. There's not enough love, there's not enough money, there's not enough gifts, there's not enough being there for them all the time for them to accept you. And here's the thing, and you guys are gonna think I'm crazy for saying this, but I'm gonna say this anyway. The only time it could potentially work with a narcissist is if you become an extension of them, if you are an extension of them. But even then, that is not sustainable. And that's why, all these content creators and people that say things like, two narcissists can work in a relationship together, that's false. That is not true at all. And the reason why it's not true is because narcissists, they are never satisfied with anybody. And again, you have to remember, guys, narcissists, although, you may have two narcissists and they're validating each other, the truth is that they're doing the same thing behind the other narcissist's back. They're cheating on them. They're doing things on them. They have multiple people at any one time. And so they're not really in a relationship. They're not married to each other. They're just two people existing with each other. So what I'm saying is that narcissists, they hate everybody. They have disdain, right? And that disdain is deep rooted. And you have to understand too that disdain is not something that you watching my video, the empath. And if you're a narcissist, you're not welcome on this channel. But what I'm saying is that if you're that means you, the empath that's watching my video, they have so much disdain and so much emptiness inside themselves that's something that cannot be fixed. Narcissists cannot be fixed. Stop trying to think that they are going to change, that you can fix them, that you can go to therapy, that you can go to counseling, that if you just stayed in it a little longer, then things will get better. No, all of that is nonsense. It's not true. Things don't get better. They only get worse and worse and worse until either you reverse discard them or they discard you. It's either going to end one of those two ways, where they discard you or you reverse discard them. And I say in my videos on my channel, I recommend you do not discard the narcissist. And here's why. And I'm going to explain it again. For those who are new to my channel, listen and pay attention to this. I say do not discard the narcissist because if you discard the narcissist, then what you are doing, you're giving them a bigger narcissistic injury for sure. But what you also need to understand is that when you discard the narcissist, it can get very, 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 very scary, right? Especially if you're dealing with a malignant narcissist, which is the most dangerous narcissist of all narcissists. And when I say the most dangerous, like, this narcissist will actually physically destroy you. Like they can get a gun and they can shoot you with a gun. They can physically beat you up to the point where you're dead and they put you in the hospital. Like, it can get very, very dangerous. And that is why I say, and if you're gonna discard a malignant narcissist, meaning a narcissist that's very violent and dangerous, that will punch a hole in the wall or will maybe knock you out to the point where you're in a coma. If you're gonna reverse discard them, I have to say this. You need to make sure that you have an exit plan, and you have to make sure that you know people, like you have a close friend or somebody in your life who cares about you enough that will want to help you with that and have your back on that, okay? That's what I say. If you're going to do it, be very, very careful, right? And when you take everything that you need out your house, take all the things that you know that you need and then leave everything else. Do not go back. Because the malignant narcissist, they could very well be waiting for you, and then they could actually kill you if they get the chance. So that's why I say let the narcissist discard you. Because the truth is that if you let them discard you, then they get a narcissistic injury, however, so it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that when they discard you, it's like you're not taking away that specific power from them, and they're not actually gonna kill you as much, right? Because by then you would have figured out what narcissism is, hopefully, and by then you would be able to, then be able to get the help that you need, right? When you need the help, right? And so you have to understand, guys, narcissists, they have disdain for people. Now, the difference between, and I mentioned this in my other videos before as well, that there's a difference between narcissistic people, and then there's a difference between toxic people. Toxic people, they don't have disdain for people like the narcissist does. The narcissist, everything is just they just hate everybody, right? They can fake it and make it seem like they like people, like they have good relationships, that they have 2,000 followers on Instagram, or they have 2,000 friends, 4,000 friends on Facebook, whatever, or they just know a bunch of people. They can make it seem as though that they have a lot of relationships, or that they have a big house, or that they have a lot of money, and this, that, and the other. But the truth is that the narcissists, they're never satisfied with those people either, because those people are, one, they're probably just as toxic as a narcissist. Two, they're probably stuck because they feel as though if they don't do what the narcissist says, then they could be a target. Or they just feel as they just haven't figured out what narcissism is just yet, and they're still hanging on to a breadcrumb of hope, thinking that the narcissist is gonna change, right? So what I'm saying, guys, is that you need to understand that narcissists, they have disdain for everybody. They do have disdain. They hate everybody. They don't like people, right? They hate everything that God created on this planet. And you have to understand too, right? Narcissists, they're the devil's handmaids. They work full time for the devil. But even then, and I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to tell you this in this video as well. Even then, when you work for the devil, when you do the devil's work, there's a big heavy price to pay too. Why? Because the truth is, and you have to understand this, is that the devil, he also hates human beings too. And the narcissist, they're a human being just like me and you are. They get up in the mornings, they do what all human beings do. They sneeze, they breathe, they blend into society thinking that they're just normal people just like me and you are. But the truth is that these are not normal people. These are people that are possessed, and they have a disorder in their brain. That's why, and I mentioned this in one of my other videos, that the narcissist isn't just demon possessed. That is why all narcissists play by the exact same playbook, which goes like this. The love bomb stage, where everything seems too good to be true, and they're lathering you up with, I love you so much, where have you been all my life? Or they give you gifts, they buy gifts for you. I know my ex-wife, in the beginning, she was buying many gifts for me. She even wrote a card in the beginning on my first birthday that we celebrated together when we were dating. And in that card, it said, I love you so much, like 3 or 4 times. And we'd only been together, I think, for maybe a year or something like that. And I was trying, and I was flattered a bit, but inside my head, I felt like something was off. But then again, I didn't know what I knew now, because, I just thought, that maybe she was in love with me, right? But in my head, I knew that something was wrong, right? So back to what I was saying. But they shower you with gifts. They shower you with fake affection. They may have sex with you for three times a day, or they may have sex with you very often. They'll spend a lot of time with you, right? They'll move their schedule, and they will say they only want you in their schedule. Like, they'll do all these things in the love bomb stage, and they do it because they know that once they do all that hard work, and the love bomb stage usually lasts maybe a year or two until you start seeing cracks, you start seeing the devaluation stage come up. But even in the love bomb stage, like I was saying in the beginning, even in that stage, you're seeing pieces of the whole cycle. You're seeing the devaluation as well when they start to, not want to go out with you, or they start being selfish and thinking only about themselves. You see this happen in the love bomb stage, but then you're not thinking about it because they've done their hard work with you getting trapped in the love bomb stage. They've done their hard work with you, making it seem as though you are going to be the one that completes them. That's what it's for. And then once the love bomb stage fades away, then comes the devaluation stage, where everything seems too good to, where during that stage, nothing you do is ever good enough. So let's say that the love bomb stage, if let's say you're a chef, or maybe not even a chef, because I'm just kidding. Okay, fine. Let's say that you are a chef, and let's say that the food you always cook is amazing. Let's say that you are a baker as well. You love to bake, you love to do all these things, right? And let's say that you bake so many goodies for the narcissist. You made them cookies, cakes, brownies, this and that, and then it was all so delicious. But then all of a sudden, 2 years later, they probably don't even want what you bake. You bake it for them, then they just walk past you, or they see them, they throw it in the garbage, or they start bringing home goodies from another bakery, and then they're eating those goodies, and then you made the thing for them, and then you're saying, I made stuff for you. Do you not see it? And then they're just like, oh, I forgot about your stuff. And then the truth is, they didn't forget about your stuff. What they're doing there is what is known as gaslighting. They're gaslighting you to make you doubt yourself, so that you doubt that you actually made it for them. And then you say to yourself, and then you say to them, you always said you loved my baking, but then you're going to a bakery and you're buying other stuff and a lot of stuff from another bakery. And now you're confused because the narcissist knows willingly in their mind that that's what's going to happen. Because see, you're not the first person they've done this to. They've done this to multiple people. And that's just one example. I could go through many examples, but unfortunately, you know, a 20-something minute video won't be able to cover everything. But and that's what I have one-on-one sessions for, to teach you further about these things. So what I'm saying, you know, and even in the devaluation stage, now nothing you did is good enough. Now you don't look handsome enough. Now you don't look sexy enough. Now everything just seems to be falling apart just like that. And you're trying to get back to that love bomb stage where everything was good. And now it's not going to happen because that was all a fake show. That was all a facade. That was the narcissist pretending, you know, putting on a show for you to get you reeled in to their person, to get you reeled into them, to get you indebted to them, right? That's what the love bomb stage was for. And then after that devaluation stage, that's probably the longest part that you're going to be in, right? Then you see them disappearing for more and more and more. They start ghosting you. They start spending more time at work. They start spending more time with their family, plotting your demise, plotting for the new supply to take your place, the person that they're going to replace you with. If you're married to them, then it's the new, you know, boyfriend or fiance or spouse that's going to replace you. And you will never know who this person is because the narcissist, again, they're not going to give you closure and tell you who exactly this person is. Right? And then once that devaluation stage happens, then comes the discard, where the narcissist throws away all those years of you guys, you know, being together and all those years of them future faking you, saying, we will have a family, we will get married, we will move to the Cayman Islands, we will do this, we will do that. All that stuff, just like that, just gets thrown away. If you're married to them, maybe they just disappear and you never hear from them again. Or maybe if you're married to them, they discard you. They send you a message, or you come home and the moving van is there, or you see them walking down the street with somebody else and you're trying to figure out what the hell is going on, but you don't realize that they've moved on years ago, but you just didn't know it. It's just the first time that they told you about it. And that's how they discard you. And then maybe it's not romantic. Maybe it's just a family member or a friend or somebody else, right? Maybe at work, your boss, you know, they throw you under the bus. You know, they tell you one thing and then they do another, and then you come into work and then you have somebody new working at your station, and then little do you know that person's going to be replacing you, and you don't know it. And then the boss is going to do the same thing to that person and to the next person. And then once they discard you, at times, or maybe all the time, there's what's known as a hoover. A hoover is when the narcissist, what they're doing is they're checking to see if you have healed, if you figured out what narcissism is, or if you're still alive. Because many people, after all of that abuse that they sustained, all that manipulation, all that gaslighting, all that stonewalling, all the smear campaigns that were spread around you behind your back, all the lies that were told about you, all the financial abuse, all the emotional abuse, all the maybe physical abuse if you were with a malignant narcissist, all that can kill somebody. It can make somebody die, like commit suicide, or, you know, make them die because they just can't handle it, right? So what I'm saying is that when it comes down to it, during that Hoover time, you should never accept the Hoover. The Hoover is a bad idea because the Hoover, the narcissist isn't checking on you to get in a relationship with you. It's not like they're saying, you know, I changed and I'm this and I'm that, and, you know, we're going to do this together and that together. Let's pick up where we left off or some nonsense like that. They're not doing it for love, because you have to remember, narcissists do not love. They don't have love inside of them, right? And I'll make a video on that sometime soon. So they're just doing it to see if you're still going to take them back to abuse you again, and perhaps maybe even kill you this time, right? That's why they Hoover people. They Hoover people by, you know, messaging you through fake accounts. Like, let's say you're on Facebook and you blocked them and deleted them. You'll see another account pop up adding you, and then you'll try to figure out, who the hell is this person? Why are they adding me? And then maybe you get a fake call from a fake number, or you get a text from a number saying, hey, how's it going? Or something along the lines of, I haven't heard from you in such a long time. Can you tell me who this is again? Something like that. I'm just making things up. They can say anything they want. But what I'm saying is that, narcissists, they have disdain for everybody, right? That's what I want you guys to understand. All these encompass the fact that it's because narcissists hate people. They don't have the ability to love people because they're filled with hatred. They're filled with disdain. They're empty vessels. They have nothing inside of them. They have no empathy. They have no love. That's the brunt of this video that I wanted to get down with you guys today. So thank you so much for being here today and joining me here on Narcissism 101, cracking the code with me, Paul Wisdom. Like I said, if you want a one-on-one session, please email me at paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com. Or you can send a text message to 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need some help, please, if you want to call, just send a text that number, let me know who you are, and then I can get you the help that you need. And then, yeah, we can go about it that way. But until then, thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you so much.